On this episode of Under the Radar Michigan, we're in Lansing to find out why our own state capital is still one of the coolest places to visit. We'll also stop at a fork in the road where some food dudes are making what we like to call real meals and hit a home run with the Lansing Lugnuts. Then we head east to beautiful Marine City for a little bar and a big bed and breakfast. We'll also satisfy your sweet tooth, show you why fish is for dinner, and prove that sea snoopers don't bite. Get ready to explore the cool people, places, and things that make Michigan a great place to be.
Under the Radar Michigan is brought to you in part by the Michigan State Housing and Development Authority, investing in people, places, and partnerships to help transform Michigan and the Michigan economy. In cities, towns, and neighborhoods, people are building better places to live and better communities. Also by the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure. The Komen Race for the Cure series raises significant funds and awareness for the fight against breast cancer, celebrates breast cancer survivorship, and honors those who have lost their battle with the disease. More info at komen.org. Also in part by the Food Bank Council of Michigan, Michigan's statewide food bank network, committed to the alleviation of hunger in Michigan and in our nation. The Food Bank Council of Michigan gathers food and funds to help stock Michigan's food banks. Support for Under the Radar Michigan comes from Big Coffee, celebrating 17 years as a Michigan company. Gift cards, coffee mugs, and coffee by the pound are available in-store and online. Locations at biggby.com.
I've been around the world, but there's one place I keep coming back to. And the more I explore, the more I realize it's the place to be. I'm Tom Dalton, and this is Under the Radar Michigan.
Lansing is the birthplace of Michigan's sense of place. It's a city that, by example, continues to show the whole world why Michigan is a great place to be. There's probably 1,001 reasons to live, work, and play here, and we've got 3 more great ones for you. Just in case you've been on the moon for the past 100 years or so, Lansing is still our state capital, and it's located right in the middle of the lower part of Michigan's mitten.
Now tell me, honestly, when was the last time you visited our state capital? Oh, you too?
Well, shame on both of us. This incredible structure is so full of history, culture, and great stories that 100 visits would only scratch the surface. It really is one of our state's crowning jewels, and all of us should see it. Now, you can tour the Capitol all on your own anytime you want, but I did the smart thing. I know, surprising for me. I hooked up with Valerie Marvin, and she knows more about this place than I probably know about myself.
You know, the last time I was at the state capitol, my biggest concern was whether or not the teacher was going to figure out that I was chewing gum. But now that I'm a little older, well, a lot older, I can really appreciate what an incredible structure this is. The dome is amazing. What's the most unusual thing about this dome?
Well, this actually is not the same dome that you see from the outside. We have 2 domes. The inner dome, is 160 feet from the glass floor. But the outer dome, the white one that you see from the exterior, is actually another 100 feet up above the stars. And there's a little balcony up there that you can't see, and today can't be accessed, but people used to go up there. You could literally go up and touch the stars.
I wouldn't want to. Now tell me about the glass floor that's down here.
The glass floor is something that makes this building unique. We're the only state capitol in the nation to have our rotunda floor be made entirely of glass. Wow. 976 pieces, which were all imported from England. About 80% of them are still original. So when you're walking on that floor, you're walking on the same floor as every governor who served the state for 133 years.
Boy, add me to that list, and those fellows are in some pretty distinguished company. Now, we all hear, read, and talk about laws, policies, and politics, but to actually stand in one of the rooms where it all takes place is a pretty cool experience.
This is the House chamber, right?
This is the House, biggest room in the building. Oh. When the Capitol was actually dedicated on January 1st of 1879, this is where it happened. The governor was sworn in right up there at the Speaker's rostrum.
But anybody can come in here unescorted and sit up here and watch government happen.
Yes, this is what's called the public gallery. So anyone can come in during session as well, take a seat. The only reason you wouldn't be able to come in is if all the seats were full. You have to be seated up here.
Can I cheer and offer my opinion, or?
No, then you might be escorted out.
Well, we don't want that to happen, but what happened next was a real thrill.
Wow, so this is where the big guy works. Kind of like my office, only, well, smaller.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, being right here where the governor sits, thinks, and makes decisions that move Michigan forward was too cool. But I didn't stay long because, well, I was afraid I might move something backwards. So we all know they make laws here, but did you know they can actually stop time too?
So is that the house clock?
That is the official House clock, and believe it or not, the Speaker of the House actually has the power to stop time, because the controls for that clock are down at the Speaker's rostrum. And if we're ever running a little behind on the last day of session for sine die when everything has to end at midnight, he can actually stop that clock at 11:45.
No way.
It can be 3 o'clock in the morning, but if it says 11:45 on that clock, it is 11:45 in the House of Representatives.
I wish I could do that at home with the kids, but they'd probably catch on.
Well, speaking of 11:45 on the official UTR clock, that means lunch.
Thanks for the awesome tour, Valerie.
Thanks for coming in.
You know, all this walking made me kind of hungry. Can we go make a sandwich or something?
You know, it's funny you ask. We actually don't have a kitchen in this building.
Really?
Yeah.
That's okay. I know a place in town.
The place I'm referring to is called Fork in the Road, and it's much more than just a restaurant. It's where farm meets fork, and the community meets to share a common philosophy about food.
I love the fact that they are committed to making food that is healthy and that's local and fresh and supports local businesses. That's sort of my philosophy in my kitchen, and so I love that I can go out and eat someplace else that has the same philosophy.
They support local farmers and local growers, and most of the food comes from the area. I think that's really great.
It has that really authentic, organic taste that just you can't match when you go into a chain place or, you know, some generic burger restaurant. I mean, this place is just awesome.
Just hats off to the cooks. I will be back soon.
The guys responsible for all this enthusiasm and adulation are Jesse Hahn and Benny Blanco Ackerman. These two young guys turned humble beginnings into one of Lansing's most talked about eateries.
So you guys had an interesting start in the restaurant business. You used to drive around a truck or a...
Trailer. Yeah, we still do.
You still do?
Yeah.
Now, what inspired you to make the jump from something relatively simple like that to actually, you know, 4 walls and doors and customers like that?
More space. Yeah, kind of outgrew our little customer base in Old Town and farmers markets and whatnot. So just transitioning, building, getting better.
What is the basis of the restaurant as far as your food philosophy goes?
I mean, we do slow food, you know, we do everything from scratch. We take the time to buy vegetables and proteins from farmers that raise things sustainably and ethically, so that we just take it from there and, you know, try to manipulate it at the least amount possible so it actually tastes like a tomato tastes like a tomato, you know.
Right.
So
just keeping the integrity of the ingredients and taking proper technique to ensure they still taste like said tomato.
Are you guys actually trained chefs, or is this something you guys just got?
I mean, I've had the title, but I mean, chef is just a word.
Yeah.
You know, we cook food. I mean, I think it's a disrespectful to chefs like Thomas Keller to call ourselves chefs, because he's a chef, we're not. We just cook
Exactly,
food.
we cook.
Well, yeah, but what you guys do with food is pretty extraordinary.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. I mean, we like to do recognizable, you know, Americana-style food. Like we have our smoked meatloaf and our fried chicken, but it's not a meatloaf sandwich that you know, see anywhere else. We have a really, you know, eclectic demographic of people that come in here, but we like to have something kind of for everybody.
Now, what are you guys hearing from the neighborhood?
I think they like us.
Yeah, I think they like us.
They
I think they want us to
bit.
stay.
So, what's next for you guys?
We're working on a little project.
Yeah, we're working on a project.
It's a secret. We'll let everybody know when we get closer.
Can we like premiere it on our show?
Yeah, I hope so.
You know, why not?
Very cool. That would be very cool.
Well, if their new venture is anything like their current one, we're all in for a treat. So if you're tired of the same old, take a trip to the Fork in the Road and see what a real commitment to real food tastes like.
You know, just in case we haven't given you enough reasons to come to Lansing, we got one more for you I think you're going to like. It's about as much fun as a barrel full of monkeys. Believe me, I got one.
I'm talking about the Lansing Lugnuts, a minor league baseball team that plays at Cooley Law School Stadium right in the heart of downtown Lansing. Just walk into the stadium and you're instantly impressed. Thousands of loyal fans and first-timers come here all summer long to have a great time and go nuts. One of the dedicated people who help keep this great organization going is Lugnuts play-by-play radio announcer Jesse Goldberg-Strassler. He's got a wisdom and love for this game well beyond his years.
We're up in Lansing a lot doing a lot of shows. Every time I drive by the stadium, I think, what a beautiful facility. I'd love to go to a game there. And we're finally here, but I have to say, and you're the play-by-play guy.
Yeah.
I admire guys like you because you never run out of things to say. If I was doing your job after the 4th inning, it'd be like, you're on your own, folks, I'm done. But how do you do that?
It sounds impromptu, and it has to be just for a little bit because we have no idea what's going to take place in the game. But you prepare every single inning. Every half inning, you have a plan. You say, top of the second, I'll describe the stadium. Bottom of the second, I'll go through the scoreboards. Top of the third, let's do a trivia question for the fans, and so on.
Now, what's great about the stadium is there's not one bad seat in the house, and people keep telling me that you got to go to a Lugnuts game because there's so much. What do you guys do to make them so much fun?
Well, we can't control the baseball. We have no idea if our team's going to be any good or not. We have no idea if the game's going to be compelling or not. So you can control everything else. The food, the drink, that has to be as good as possible. And give folks more options than just your peanuts, popcorn, Cracker Jacks. You can do better than that. And so we try to. There are fireworks nights. Wednesdays are ladies' nights, just for the ladies. And then Sundays, we do kids' days. Before the game, families are invited out onto the field to play catch. After the game, kids get to run the bases. So we really try to take each day and say, let's cater to this segment. Let's say you're going to enjoy yourself regardless of how the baseball game goes.
So it's baseball and more.
Exactly. It has to be.
I hate to ask this because it sounds, well, anyway, I'm going to ask it. Would you mind if I threw out the first pitch? Because I've got a spitball. It's really messy. It's really messy, but it's effective, and I'd really love to try it out.
I think I could be persuaded, sure.
Yes.
Well, like any finely tuned athlete, I took the time to properly prepare for my big pitch. I mean, who knows? There could be a scout in the park, and I didn't want to blow my big chance.
Next up, it's Tom Golden. Great job. Let's hear it for tonight's ceremonial first pitches.
Well, I know all these people didn't come here to watch me, so time to clear the field for the real players.
The first pitch to Burns. He swings and lines it over the leaping Bosnick. A base hit to left field. Lansing takes a 1-0 lead.
So hey, if you're looking for a great time with friends and family that won't cost you an arm and a leg, come go nuts in Lansing.
So what do you like watching better, Under the Radar Michigan or a Lansing Lugnuts game?
Lugnuts.
Okay.
There you have it. Not only is it more fun than a barrel of monkeys, it's more fun than watching UTR. And that's pretty fun. You know, we get emails all the time from people who want us to come visit their city, and that's awesome. But when it came to Marine City, I think we got an email from every single person in town. Marine City is located on the St. Clair River, just 20 minutes south of Port Huron. At least a dozen of the 11 billion emails we got came from Scott Anderson, and he knows everything there is to know about Marine City.
What do you think gives this place its sense of community?
It's just got to all be about the people. When it comes right down to it, we're all just trying to kind of preserve this really nice waterfront, kind of historic looking way of life. In the 70s, when every little city was tearing out their downtown and building the mall, we were too broke to do that. But now it works out kind of nice because we have all these charming historic old buildings, and it's not broken up by some monstrosity of an attempted mall.
Yeah, and you're so close to Canada. Do you ever catch them watching you?
They are all the time. If you take binoculars over there, you'll see people with binoculars looking over at us, and they come back and forth because, of course, we have a ferry that goes across the river here. A lot of people don't know this. This is one of the only places in Michigan where you can go to Canada without a car. If you want to walk onto the ferry or ride a bike onto the ferry, you can go across. There's a little village across the way called Sombra, and they have a place where you can make your own wine. There's a nice little restaurant, a couple of gift shops, and of course here we have something like a dozen antique shops, a dozen restaurants, which is a lot for a very small town. And lots of other places to see.
Now tell me the real reason why the Canadians take the ferry over here.
To get beer.
Seriously?
This makes no sense. All day long, you don't believe me, come and watch. Guys will get on the ferry with hand carts. They'll come over, there's a duty-free shop on this side. They'll load up 5 cases of beer. I don't know why 5, but it's always 5. And then they'll get back on, and Canadian beer, by the way, and then they'll get back on the ferry and go back through customs twice, pay the ferry twice, and somehow this is cheaper than just buying the beer in Ontario.
In your best estimation, why do you think we got so many emails from the folks in Marine City?
Well, it's a neat little town, and people are really proud of their town, you know? And it just became this movement somehow. I don't really know how it grew the legs, went viral the way they put it nowadays, and it just got huge, and you were bombarded, I guess.
Now, Scott, if you recall, in the email that you sent, you specifically said that if we came to Marine City, that you would be our Sherpa guide for the day.
Yes, I believe that's the exact phrase I used. I've been studying it.
Okay, well, because you do realize that Sherpas carry stuff, right?
You printed them?
Yes, and you have to carry them. Let's go, buddy. Better you than me.
Now, our first stop for the day was actually our last, but hey, this is TV, and anything can happen. The Little Bar looks like a little house, and it's a place the locals love. Inside, I met up with Darren Wayner. He and his folks own the place, and it turns out he makes TV magic too.
So you and I have something in common. We're both, you have a TV show, right?
Right.
And you're a hunter?
I'm a professional hunting guide.
Oh, a guide. Okay, I'm a guide, only I don't shoot anything. I just take people around Michigan. But do you have 11 billion fans like we do?
I have 11 billion and 2 fans.
Darn it. Now, isn't this place the original, like, haunt for the locals?
Well, you know, the locals and surrounding communities. A lot of people like to come here because of the history. But Thomas Edison used to eat here back when they first opened.
What keeps you in Marine City? What keeps you coming back?
Friends and family, and really it's a beautiful place. I mean, the location, it couldn't be prettier. Being this so close to Canada, the freighters and the rivers and the lakes, and just a nice location. Nice people, nice area.
Now, you've got a drink here that I've heard about. It's called the Little Beer?
The Mini Beer.
The Mini Beer. A mini beer at the Little Bar in Marine City. I'm going to try mine now. Does it taste like beer? That's awesome.
That's smooth though, isn't it?
May I please have another?
Well, thank goodness this first stop was actually our last, because that mini beer made me feel, well, mini funny. So, time to put old Sherpa Scott back to work, and I gotta tell you, Marine City is a beautiful place to take in by foot. But lucky for him, we did actually have to take a break every now and then to catch up on some of these emails.
Dear Tom, I've stayed at a lot of bed and breakfasts in my life, all very nice, but have you ever stayed at one that was on steroids? Come visit the Heather House in Marine City. You won't believe your eyes. P.S. Is your mustache real?
The Heather House is an absolutely beautiful bed and breakfast that's a must-see to believe. And believe me, if you like B&Bs, you can't help but appreciate this. Heather Bachram and her husband Bill own and operate this incredible place.
I feel so formal sitting here. You're such a lovely lady, and this is such a beautiful place. I'm overwhelmed. What's the history of this built? When was this built?
We believe it was built in 1885, but we think it probably took a couple of years to build because we got 2 dates, 1885 and 1888.
What's the greatest joy for you owning a place like this? And this is spectacular.
I think the thing that is the most fun is to have a place like this that you really feel like a caretaker of an old home like this, and to be able to share that with other people and to be able to meet all these people from other places. We really enjoyed that very much.
If someone couldn't come here, describe what the feel of the inn in some of the rooms.
Well, it's cozy, even though it's a very large home. It being a Queen Anne, and the way Queen Anne's are designed, they had smaller homes. They are full of nooks and crannies. And I think that's one of the things that our guests love. We have a lot of people who come back, all the time, and they say, we've been coming here, let's say, for 5 years or 10 years. I still see new things that I didn't notice before.
Well, you've done a wonderful job. Now, where's the little bell I ring to have a spot of tea? Where's that little bell?
Well, actually, it's over there, or there's a pull bell over there.
Well, you're here.
But you can ask me for a cup of tea.
Oh, good. Can I have a cup of tea, please?
Of course.
To be honest, the time I spent with Heather was about as relaxing and refined as I can remember. But if you know anything about me by now, I don't sit still for long.
Oh, candy!
Huh? Tom! The Sweet Tooth Candy Shop is right downtown, and owner Todd May is like the Willy Wonka of Marine City.
Back when I was young, we had a candy store in town almost like this. The gentleman that ran it, you got your little bag, you went behind the counter, you got to get your candy. And the inspiration of the store was, to really have that old-fashioned feel again, and the candies that you could get when you were a kid, but you can't get anywhere else. It's things that you don't see normally.
Well, speaking of things you don't see normally, You have some very unconventional stuff here, too. Tell me about some of the stuff in the case I saw.
In the case over there, I mean, we have chocolate-covered bacon. Either you love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
Your brain says no way, but your taste buds say this is pretty darn good.
Right. What do you love about living in town here, Marine City?
You know what? I've lived here all my life. I'm a 7th-generation kid here, so it's just that hometown feel. It's a nice town.
Well, I'm gonna need some extra candy because I think I'm wearing Scott out.
Well,
so, yeah.
Wear him out.
Well, if we learned anything from Veruca Salt, you do what the Candyman says.
Hey, Scott, you got room in that bag for these lollipops? They're for my son. He's 22. He loves lollipops. Scott?
Okay, maybe it's time to take another email break.
Dear Mr. Dalton, so formal. Did you know that not only is Marine City inhabited by land mammals, but we also have sea snoopers here too? Come see one for yourself. I wonder if they bite.
Actually, the Sea Snoopers are a dive club that loves to explore the waters around Marine City.
So you're a sea snooper?
I'm a Michigan sea snooper.
You don't bite, do you?
No.
Okay. And you like it here in Marine City?
We do. We come weekly. We could usually come Wednesday afternoons, and then we dive on Sundays.
How far can you see?
Today it's really good. On average, you get anywhere from maybe 2 to 3 feet. You can get on up to 15 feet.
All right, can you tell I'm stepping on your foot right now?
I can tell.
You got some big feet.
It's preventing me from falling back.
Well, good. I'm glad I'm of some help. You like Marine City?
We love Marine City. If we had the opportunity, we would live here.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Marine City is great. A lot of good restaurants, a lot of good shops, antique stores.
You think you can teach me how to dive?
I can't, but she can.
Well, go get wet.
We will
Even though
do
you're in
that.
a dry suit, go get wet.
We will do that. Thank you. It's nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too. Dive away, or whatever you say. Water.
Dive safe.
Dive safe.
Before we knew it, they were in and they were gone. And even though we can't show you what they're doing right now, I'll bet it's a lot cooler than what you're doing right now. Wait a second. You're watching our show right now. Darn it! Well, Scott continued to be the best Sherpa ever. He even showed me a new bike trail here called US Bike Route 20 that takes you all the way to Ludington on Lake Michigan. Very cool.
And thanks for letting me put that sign up for you, Scott.
Yeah, great job.
That's what I do. Dear UTR crew, after watching only 2 of your shows, I figured out that you guys like to eat a lot. So when you come to Marine City, please check out the Marine City Fish Company. 3 guesses what they serve there.
People from far and wide come to the Marine City Fish Company for, well, you know. Melissa Fisher, along with her husband Jeremy, made this place a destination for people who love fresh fish.
You know, we got a ton of emails that said we should come here to eat lunch. Why do you think that is?
I would just have to say that we change things up a lot. You know, everything's consistent when you come in, but every time, a couple times a year, we do a brand new menu, brand new beer line, just kind of keep things fresh for people that come all the time and for absolutely new people that come.
You from Marine City originally?
I am. I'm at the outskirts of Marine City, out by, you know, the country area. My husband's from Anchor Bay, so we're pretty much from the area, I could say.
What do you love about this place?
The water. I mean, that's just plain and simple. And it's just a unique small town and has a lot of potential.
I'm gonna have lunch here. What should I have?
I would probably say sauteed yellow belly lake perch, a little lemon pepper seasoning, lightly grilled. That's probably the best. We make a homemade tartar sauce. It's to die for.
Scott's gonna need an extra helping because he's tired. He's been carrying that bag for a while.
He needs a hand.
Well, as expected, we had a great meal at the Marine City Fish Company, and we had a great time discovering Marine City. So folks, keep those emails coming, because I'm sure my new buddy Scott can't wait for us to come back.
You know, I love the water here and how there's trees over there and you can see Canada. And look, there's a lighthouse down there. That's awesome. They've got one too, and you've got a lighthouse here. That's awesome. I mean, huh? Oh, boy, have you ever gone to somebody's website and you get there and it's kind of disappointing? Well, you should go to utrmichigan.com, because if you've never been there before, you won't know what to expect, so you can't be disappointed. You can go to our visitor's guide and find out places we've been, tell us where to go. You can jump to our Facebook page or even find out where to get a hat like mine, huh? So go to utrmichigan.com, and I promise you will not be disappointed. Watch. Aha! I love it.
Under the Radar Michigan is brought to you in part by the Michigan State Housing and Development Authority, investing in people, places, and partnerships to help transform Michigan and the Michigan economy. In cities, towns, and neighborhoods, people are building better places to live and better communities. Also by the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure. The Komen Race for the Cure series raises significant funds and awareness for the fight against breast cancer, celebrates breast cancer survivorship, and honors those who have lost their battle with the disease. More info at komen.org. Also in part by the Food Bank Council of Michigan, Michigan's statewide food bank network, committed to the alleviation of hunger in Michigan and in our nation. The Food Bank Council of Michigan gathers food and funds to help stock Michigan's food banks. Support for Under the Radar Michigan comes from Bigby Coffee, celebrating 17 years as a Michigan company. Gift cards, coffee mugs, and coffee by the pound are available in-store and online. Locations at biggby.com. Closed captioning for Under the Radar Michigan is made possible by Shamrock Travel in downtown Rochester. Shamrock Travel, providing complete travel services right here in Michigan for over 20 years.